You know, Colonel, you had an impeccable service record with the Rhode Island State Police. The one thing though, the boots. I'm surprised that you weren't the guy to get them like the Nike mags, like Back to the Future, you know, auto waist all the way up. I figure you a guy of expedience and get it done. Just, you know, just saying, you kind of, I don't know if you slacked off there or what, or just saying.
I think you probably, it's a good point. It's a failure in leadership on my part, so
Wow.
I'm only kidding with you. Those boots, as you know, those boots are historic for the Rhode Island State Police, so I think I'll pass on that suggestion to new Colonel, see if he can work with those Nike boots.
Think I could get my own pair? I mean,
I doubt it.
Oh. Hey, welcome into Carpooling with Ben, folks. The YMCA, it's so much more than just a song you've grown up with. It is a wonderful community organization worldwide, but here in the Greater Providence area, throughout the state of Rhode Island, it is under the leadership and direction of the former colonel of the Rhode Island State Police. Joins me in the car, and an incredible lacrosse coach, I've heard. You're amazing.
Someone else would have to make that decision. So.
Stephen O'Donnell, sir,
Thank
Colonel,
you.
Retired. Thank you so much for taking the time. After this, I'm going to help you deliver some supplies here for summer camp, because summer camp is it's coming up.
It is, and thanks for taking me down to Kent County, where one of our camps run. It's Camp Oakwonesset. These is the swag that goes with glasses and toys and footballs, and camp season's coming up, so we're asking our members and anybody that wants to come to camp. Camp is not just a typical summer camp. It has STEM. We do all sorts of learning and
Science,
interactives.
technology, engineering, and math.
It's unbelievable what happens at the camp. Obviously, it's we have a staple there, swimming. Safety around water is the Y pillar. We have 2 ponds that we work. There's a water park there. It's really a special place, and it's on 110 acres in the back of Kent County YMCA. We also have Camp Fuller, which is right on 56 acres on Salt Pond, which is an unbelievable experience. That's an overnight camp. Yeah. We also have camp at Newman, and we have camp at Barrington. So get out to your YMCAs and look at summer camps.
Yeah, right now is the time, because, I mean, we're in the beginning of spring here, and depending on when people watch it, you know, you only have so much space. I mean, space is limited in some of these camps, so people should really reach out if they're starting to make their plans now on what they're going to do for the summer, which is important. So, just generally about the YMCA, you've been here for how long now?
28 months.
20 months. So how are things going? A little over 2 years. How are things going? And what attracted you to the Y?
The biggest attraction is to my perspective, it's a no-brainer. What I mean by no-brainer is you have children, teenagers, adults, and active oval adults. So that is the message that everybody gets. I felt really compelled that I had left the community. When I left the state police, I was very comfortable leaving law enforcement. I spent 35 years, and you have to know when you know, and I just knew it was time for me to move on. But I did feel that I did a disservice to some of the community leaders, because they had bought into the state police. They had bought into what we were doing, and that takes years and years to develop. So here, when this position opened up, I knew I'd be in the community. I grew up in the city. I grew up about 1.5 miles from here. I believe in the core values of a city, what it did for me, and taking it back to camp. You know, I wanted people to know that camp, if you can't afford it, we pay for it. We have the Summertime Fund from the Journal. We have the Champlain Foundation. We have Give the Gift of Camp. We had we raised $80,000 last Christmas.
Wow. Through
Ocean State Job Lot, Neighborhood Health, and some of them will slip me, that provided funds for kids to go to camp that can't afford it. And that's compelling, because you in suburban Rhode Island may believe, or urban Rhode Island, suburban Rhode Island, that everybody knows what camp is, but they don't. Yeah. And if you get kids around water, you get kids around experiences that can see different things that don't have that opportunity. That's what we want to do. And the word we want to talk about is opportunity. So for me, I feel blessed that I have a chance to give back full-time to the community and get out and try and give the message to the Y and actually rebrand the Y. The Y is 160 here in Rhode Island, 161-year-old organization, the Greater Providence Y. So fix up as a business practice, understand the finances, make sure that we're operating fiscally responsible, being responsible to the people that we work with in the community, and then have these programs. We have diabetes programs, cancer programs. We have all sorts of different things that happen. It's not just a treadmill and a pool. We certainly have them. Sure. We're community-based. We don't we try not to compete with other health clubs. We are, part of us is a health club, but we're a community-based organization that needs funding. We have fundraising events to raise money to help us operate. We're a nonprofit organization, which means we rely on membership, we rely on programs, we rely on camps, but we do need the help of people. If they believe we're the charity of choice, we're here to accept your donations, and I'll guarantee you those donations, 100% of them will go to the right place.
That's so awesome. And you think about it, people watching this as they grew up, going to the Y, maybe it's a summer camp memory, maybe it's a swim lessons memory or something. Everybody somehow is connected to the Y, and even if you don't have kids, there's reasons for you to be here. You mentioned like the diabetes program or the cancer programs and the different outreaches there. It's so much more than just a gym. You can use that, by the way, if you ever want to,
Thanks.
Rebranding. It's a little my gift to you. That and the mags, the Nike mags for the boots. No, but it's so critical because it serves such a serious need in this area. Water safety is such a huge thing. I was a lifeguard at the Barrington YMCA.
I've heard.
I couldn't find any of the T-shirts that I still fit in, but I'll have those 5 a.m. swimmers were a lot better than me. they were, but it was a fun. It was it was a great summertime and year-round gig. But seeing people go up and through, and every now and then when I pop in, I still see the same swimmers there because it becomes a lifestyle of the healthy living, and so everything you do, and of course their support by swimming there or being a member, helps with the summer camp thing. The summer camp thing is awesome. I mean, let's face it. We've got some of the best camps, I think, in the country here.
I was just in Fort Lauderdale last week, and I was on the beach, and I said to my wife, these beaches have nothing on Rhode Island. You go to Narragansett Pier, Sando Cove, the beaches in Rhode Island need people to go down there, and you'd be surprised in the people that I meet in the community that have never been to the beach or they've never been to a pond.
Sure.
And so we want to make sure that we can get that message. We are the Ocean State. We want to make sure our lifeguards are well trained, that people come, that we become the place where people train lifeguards, but also the lifeguarding issue, having people safe and being comfortable around water and enjoying the water. We have this beautiful state, we need to exploit it.
You guys have a great swim lessons program as well, and I mean, we always go through the summertime, and you hope you never see the story of a child that drowned because they couldn't swim. This is a great area. This is a great resource for people to get those swim lessons. So even during Splash Week, I know that was a big initiative in those lessons. So people who get involved, and they're really heroes, which is one of the programs you guys have coming up.
It's our 3rd annual. What we do is we recognize different heroes from different walks of life. What we're doing this year is we're recognizing 2 Y historic people. One of them is I really can't promote it, but it'll be announced as our special guest.
Stay tuned for that teaser.
At our event. Just a wonderful person who sat on a board of trustees, the board of directors, helped guide this organization. Then people should know that we work for board of directors that are mainstream Rhode Islanders. They're all professional people from different walks of life, from publishing to the courts to financial wizards that help us maintain what we're doing. So we recognized 2 of them, and one of them was a Y historic person named Steve Palmer. He's been around. He's 82 years old. He's been in the Y since he was 7.
Jeez.
He was a national spokesman for the Y, just a super person. Then we recognized 2 business leaders. Neighborhood Health is one, and e-commerce solutions, because those companies thrive when they donate money to us. One, they expect us to use the money properly, which we do, but we want to recognize them because without money, we can't operate these. You
got to pay the bills. You got to keep the lights on.
Yeah, and we have to pay for some kids that there's some children that can't afford it. And we want to make sure they have that experience. Then we have 2 young children that we're going to recognize. Where when Sandy Hook happened. Everybody, it's synonymous with the name. I don't need to really explain what happened.
Sure.
But one of the children that was killed, Mom and Dad ran a foundation called the CMAC Foundation. And of that, they donate money back to specific Ys. So last year we opted in. We received a grant to train 15 to 20 kids at the Y, at Bayside Y. They trained to be triathletes. So 10-year-old kids, 6 to 12-year-old kids trained to swim, bike, and run. It's a small triathlon. And it's held at Fort Adams in Newport.
Okay.
So the Ys from Connecticut with Rhode Island came and they competed, and 2 of our champions came from the Bayside Y.
Wow, cool.
And they're great stories, and we're going to recognize them. And unfortunately, one of the boys who was involved is a fan of the Rams.
Okay.
And we're fans of Jimmy Devlin. Jimmy Devlin comes to our events, and we highlight them. So when I went to give this young boy his, let him know he's going to be a hero, I gave him a football signed by Jimmy Devlin.
Nice.
2 days before the Super Bowl. And we had a pretty good give and take about the Patriots going to beat the Rams, and they did.
Yeah.
So we have these galvanizing kids that we recognize. So it's kind of a cross-section of business, white people, and kids that kind of compelled us. There's 6. We could recognize 600 every year.
Sure.
It's such a cool thing to do. Yeah. And it's yheroes.org if you want to go. We have typically...
We'll have the links for everything in the show notes and everything so people can
that would be awesome.
Click and follow right along. Of course, the 3 balding Italians in the back seat there, Nick, Ron, and Pete, they're helping out with getting the word out. And
well, you should let them know. They already know I'm the 4th Cardi brother.
That's right.
I've told them
You've
that,
got more hair than all 3 of them
well,
combined.
Not much.
It works. You're the old Cardi brothers. So.
Yeah.
Membership in general, if people are interested in becoming a member of the YMCA, what's the most important thing they should look at, aside from, the financial?
Yeah, the financial is always the first thing people look at, and I would think we're mainstream. We're not going to compete with the $10 a month. That's not what we are, but we have to pay bills, and we also have to help children that can't afford it. And that's what I keep telling everybody to make sure. So our membership, we have different categories.
Sure.
For families, it's the best bargain anywhere.
Right.
Because when you look at what you pay for family membership, when you come into the Y, and a good example is you. Mom and dad come in the Y, and you can take your son or your daughter, and they can have babysitting services, and they're for free.
Yeah.
There's no add-on cost for that. That's a great membership benefit. If I knew that when my kids were younger, I had 3 sons, I'd come home from work, my wife is ready to jump out the window. If we go to the Y, both get a workout, and then the kids can run around in someone else's place and relieve all the stress that goes with life.
Burn off the energy.
That's a good way of saying they come home, they go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then they also, while they're there, it's not just someone's watching them, they have programs for them. They learn things. And then they learn how to interact with other kids, and they can learn how to swim, all the things that happen with that. So there's so much more, and I know that's what you said before to a YMCA. And we believe in community, that in the crazy world we live in now, 2018, 19, with all the dialogue that's out there and who's mad at who and all the nonsense.
Sure.
This is a place that should be comfortable to people.
Right.
And the network of friends and relationship that people develop. So we're in the process of transitioning this organization to make us bigger, stronger. We have pros, we have cons. We're fixing up buildings, we're renovating, we're moving another building out of our ecosystem because we have to, infrastructure-wise. But we need help. And what I mean by that, we need grants. We need people that want to be part of a community-based organization. And then when you leave, you feel like, one, you've accomplished something. We have member programs where a member pays for a member. Not everybody can afford it. We also have an opioid program where we have this nasty thing going around the country where people are dropping like flies, and most of it's not the way it's perceived. It's no fault of anybody. Some people just get hooked because of something that happened in the hospital, or it may be. Yeah. So part of it is trying to help families that are impacted by the opioid crisis. We have donors that will donate money to that. We have grants that will come to that. So put them in a place where it's healthy living, and also the working out, helping you. It's mind, body, and spirit. All that information, and it matters. So I just say open the doors, come to Y. Pretty transparent with our members. I send out surveys all the time. Tell us what you want. Now, we can't always do everything.
Sure.
We're coming up on a change of our cardio equipment. Our cardio equipment changes from March to June. And we're asking the members, what do you want? What do you like? What will work best for you? And then we have to put that within reasonableness, how much the cost is.
Right.
We work with companies all the time. We have a bidding process, so we do it fairly to make sure that all businesses have a chance to do that. But we're looking at lowest prices, but we're also looking at things that work, and we're also looking at companies that want to get involved and help us. And going back to the heroes, that's exactly what we're going to do. There's companies that help us, and we recognize them. What does that mean? So they get a trophy and all that stuff, but it's really, really impactful for those people to know that they stepped out and said, hey, I'm going to donate $50,000 because I believe in what you're doing for young kids, as we're looking at young kids across the street.
Sure.
The future is them.
Yep.
And while they're coming to the Y, we still have access to teenagers. We'd like them to come in our facilities. Adults, and then obviously active adults as you get older. All the things that pools do and workouts to give us some longevity and make us live longer.
Sure. Well, I know just because from being in the pool environment, that warmer water and that help with the stability and everything for some folks who may have experience limited mobility or any kind of physical ailments. makes a big difference, and it gives them the opportunity. Low impact, no impact workout. It's great for the joints because, you know, hey, we're not getting any younger there.
Well, you make a great point that I'm glad you mentioned, because we have a Fez bike. A Fez bike in 6 of our facilities is an electronic stimulation bike where people that are paralyzed and have different issues, disability issues, can drive that bike. And it creates quad strength, it creates some cardiovascular workout for them. So quality of life and longer life, and that's really important to us. I told you we had a diabetes program. There's all sorts of different things that happen within that YMCA that are different, and the people on those bikes interact greater with the regular population that's in there. So there's a lot of synergy within YMCA's. Tiger Boletto is one of our partners at the Cranston Y that uses that. He has quads more defined than mine.
Wow.
And someday, if stem cell research works, someone like him could walk. Jim Langevin, I've convinced Jim Langevin to get a Fez bike. He has a Fez bike in his house.
Wow.
So those things that we do are really powerful things that we want to make sure everybody has a chance to come in a facility and interact. Typically someone like Jim or Tiger would work out on their own by themselves. No, we want them around people, and people want them around. There's so many great stories within a YMCA that we haven't even tapped into. And that leads us to social media.
Yeah.
We have a new person doing social media, and this is awesome. But to get our story out, come in and see.
Yeah.
Just walk in the building, have someone walk you through, and see what we do.
Yeah.
And it goes from huge facilities to smaller facilities. But we got something, we're rocking inside the Y.
You brought up something, and I want to kind of tail off with this. You mentioned, you know, Gary Boletto, Representative Langevin. You know, these are people that have injuries that by and large would be or situations that would be a lifelong situation. But through what you guys are doing with the Y, you're encouraging them and saying, look, something changes, you're going to be ready. And we want to make sure that you're in the best physical condition possible if anything comes down the pipe. And that's inspiring to future generations, younger folks that have those kind of situations, or maybe one day find themselves in that situation. It's so critical, it's so important to have that widespread, that holistic approach to it. It's incredible. You're really good at this.
No, honestly it is, because when you talk to like a Tiger or a Jim or anybody that does it, Tori Linergiosi, she was injured really severely by a drunk driver many years ago. She's on a Fez bike. And again, besides the quad strength, they're getting cardiovascular movement, which helps their overall body.
Oh, absolutely.
And then it helps the mind. And it also helps when they come into a facility where people can see them and understand that a Fez bike costs $25,000. We have to pay for that bike. And so when we go to donors, and we tell them why. So we have these events that showcase these type of things. And last year we had a ceremony, a Dancing Under the Stars event. It was the coolest thing. And we had, you know, a typical buffet. But then we had 10 dancers compete, and they had been trained 6 months by Fred Astaire dancers.
Fred Astaire.
And they came in and they competed, and we had judges. And the mistake I made, I was a judge, so I don't want that responsibility anymore. But they were outstanding.
Yeah.
And we had Gem Plumbing came in. They wore fedoras and patent leather shoes, and Kasim Yan was there, and Rosie Fernandez won it from Cox. She was outstanding.
Yeah.
So this year we're going to do the same thing, but at the event. Joe Nagel from Delta Dental, who is a very nondescript person, asked me how much a bike is, and I said $25,000, and he gave me a check for $25,000, and they wouldn't let me announce it.
Wow.
I'm like, Joe, come on, I got to tell everybody, and I did, because he's so nondescript. And so we bought 2 Fez bikes from that event and put them in our facilities, and they cost money to maintain.
Sure.
But when you tell people what we're doing, he had no idea.
Yeah.
And that's why we have events. That's why we want people coming and hearing what we're doing. And obviously it raises money, but it raises awareness. If you can help somebody in your life, that's what a YMCA is really set up to do.
And that's why you got into the Camry of Wonder here with a bunch of GoPros and lights. Colonel, thank you so much, as always, for your support. I mean, I think we should, maybe we should just rock out with these guys right here. I think these look good. I think this would never become part of the
This is really usually beyond the scope for me, so I'm going to do this just for you. But
exclusive. Look at that.
It'll be brief.
Wow, you look good.
Not really.
You look great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YMCA. YMCA. He's better than I am.
Are you ready to enjoy? You can hang out with all the boys. Colonel O'Donnell, sir, retired Colonel O'Donnell. Thanks for getting in the car. You're a great sport for this, and believe me, the you wearing the sunglasses is just between me, you, and the millions on the internet. So awesome. Good stuff.